Good morning, Rabbi Isai. I was just watching Megillah Daf Beis, and nobody screams out there. It's like it's an evolution of Good morning, Rabbi Isai. How's everybody doing? And then it's good morning. And then I don't know when we have to see when exactly some Meshugah gonna probably scream out and then it became this. Yeah.
I started way back ago.
No, but by Megillah, nobody. You were doing other stuff there, Megillah. You were like getting on my nerves on Daf Beis. You're turning people off of the Daf back then as
Just can't get rid of it. There was a vote. We called a vote on it, actually.
No, you didn't. My name is Moshe Tischler. A few months ago, you spoke about how my cousin Moshe Tischler, who's a singer, inspired someone to learn the Daf. And Moshe also rejoined the Daf after you called him. I have another cousin, Moshe Tischler, who has been doing this shir since Yuma and always encouraging me to start. I have completed a few Masechtas. However, I haven't done the Daf in a while. I always wanted to learn Masechtas Sanhedrin, so I restarted the Daf. Now there are 3 Moshe Tischlers learning the Daf. You always say anyone can give a shir. I started learning with someone last week, Masechtas Megillah, in order to try to finish by Purim. He runs a koil and asked me to start singing Daf Yomi shir. We just started the new parak on Sunday, parak ben Soyer Umayra. I watched an interview where someone came over to you once with a deal. At the time you said it was out of your league. However, you said if Hashem brought it to you, okay, that's how we heard the story. Then it's been a shamayim. He heard it like that because you were meant to do it. I took that as a lesson and started the shir. Whatever I didn't say in the story, he took that as a lesson and he started the shir. Givaldik. Mamish. Baruch makes you hear what you want to hear, and it's halavai you should continue with this. He came last night to say hello and to show me the video. Thank you for all you do. Give people atzlacha v'bracha. Moshe Tischler, he is his very first shir. Hopefully it lasts through Shas.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Zog the Heilige Mishnah.
Ari Friedman, 2 portraits in my office. One with Rebelli with me. Of course, what is it called? He blurred out his face, but my face has to stay. And Eidam Mevado, that a Sefer wrote on Klaf. Here it is. Looking forward to seeing you in the shir next week in person. So when we see him in shir, we'll know who the blurred face. Ari Cohn, remember Ari Cohn? He has something to do with Atzallah, because Ari Friedman. This is beautiful. Eidam Mevado. This is from Sachin Savitz. He says the Reb Chaim Pelagi also says the same idea that if you have some crazy problem with health, or a problem with shidduchim, or Parnasa, you tried everything and nothing's working. The Eitzah Vura Yehi Sheyorim is Kol HaKet HaRishon Shelo Leinu L'Shabeach B'Chavona. Say L'Shabeach. Vaz Yachzer Shuv Al HaMilim Hu Elokeinu Ein Oid. Ein Oid. Eidam Mevado. Okay. This is a guy says that I started doing Dafs in Sanhedrin. It's mamish geschmack. And our small son, before he goes to sleep, he likes to hear Erev Tov Rabbi Isai and Shecher.
Erev Tov Rabbi Isai.
B'kitzur, it doesn't matter. The point is that the kids are into learning. They're into the daf. It doesn't matter what. I didn't show this yesterday, did I? I showed this to the Hebrew shir. Eli Stefansky, Muncie Ambulance, since Baba Kama. This is how he does. He's on, what's it called? Not on call. He's a dispatch. Rabbi Isai, here we go. Refuah Shelaima. The 5 Masechta sponsors. Wow, B'li Ayin Hara, 7-month sponsors. That's really nice. I like that. So we had 2 more since yesterday. The Masechta sponsor for Refuah Shelaima for Yosef Chaim Shmuel Ben Alte Nechama from his grateful family. The Masechta sponsored for Atzlacha, Borachnius, Begashmius. This just hit me in my head. I heard that Rabbi Yitzchak Frankfurter is here in Eretz Yisrael, so I'm inviting him live. Come to the shir, see what it's like. The owner of Ami magazine.
Not the owner, the public. Chesky Kaftail is the owner.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah.
Okay. What is he?
He's the publisher. He's
the main
editor-in-chief.
Editor-in-chief. Okay. To me, he's the owner. I don't care. He's the owner. Sechta, for Atzlacha Beruchnis, guys, now I got it from the owner.
He's the Yosef line.
It's okay. That's more than Eli Stefansky. Okay. Larry Cohn, in memory of Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim, who started learning Daf Yomi at age 70 and continued for 32 years until he was nifter. The Masechta for the unity of the Jewish people by Glenn Esterson with love and gratitude from Wilmington, North Carolina. Thank you for enriching my life with it. I'm going to miss this guy from Wilmington, North Carolina. I love it. Every morning gives me a geschmack, a chiyus. Parnasa chodesh. Linishma Zchariah ben Moshe, linishma Zchariah bas Yosef. Parnasa chodesh. Zchut, Parnasa Birevach for Baruch Tzvi Nissim ben Shoshana Leah. Parnasa chodesh with a chorus atoy from Anonymous. Parnasa chodesh Shprintzy Alan Gross. Shelaima ben Yitzchak Isaac. B'yom Isaac ben Tzvi Cohn. For Shelaima Yonas and Eitan ben Basheva Bracha. How many guys are on Zoom now?
67.
By Leon Welcher for speedy release from house arrest of Ari Rosenfeld, Aaron Ben Hinda, Esther Gittel. Is Leon Welcher on Zoom right now? He used to be every single day, remember? You didn't really see him, you saw his computer, sometimes he'd come into the frame, out of the frame, now he's garnished. By Benjamin Rosenfeld, Hatzlach in Parnasa, Yishkoach Benjamin Rosenfeld, he's on the trip with us, he had tremendous Hatzlach in Parnasa. The Parnasa Chodesh Yosef and Chayesara of Hatzlacha Beruknius Ubegashmiyos. Coil Lemon sponsored by HYK Ventures in honor and for the success of all our clients. Parnas Hayoim Yitzchok Schechter for Shelaima for my dear grandmother Miriam Kayla Bas Sarah Mirel. Parnas Hayoim Tani Palak Lili Nishmas my father Shmuel Menachem ben Rav Tuvi Yaakov Chav Vov Shvat Tov Shem Pei Aleph. Parnas Hayoim L'Zech Nishmas Rabbi Yitzchok ben Rabbi Yehuda Leib Stefansky. The famous Rabbi Yitzchok Stefansky was nifter yesterday, I think it is. He's the original owner of Dagim Tuna, the famous founder of Lakewood Koilel. He was part of MDY. He came, I gave a shir in Lakewood. He came in his wheelchair with his thing. He told me how much he does the shir, v'chulu, v'chulu. But he's my father's cousin. And he used to come to every single one of our simchas. A bris, a bar mitzvah, this. He's very makbid on mishpacha. His neshama should have an aliyah. He has he's right, Jonathan. You heard about those, yeah. Huh? I don't know. I mean, his kids they're my second cousins. Somebody just asked again, but the Olam knows not to ask. All Stefanskys are related. Somebody sent me even a picture of a woman, Stefansky from Switzerland. Definitely related to me, because we are originally from Switzerland. She was his wife's teacher or something. You want to know over? Yes, all Stefanskys, I believe, besides Kevin Stefansky, who's a head coach of some NFL team in, what? It is with an I? That's how you know. If it's with an I, then it's not. Wow. Rabbi said we have Reperetz Chaim Levin. Whoa, I get up. Okay. It's kosher. Wow. Okay. So let's do the share a little bit like this. Wow. Person who brought thousands, I don't even know how to count anymore. Nobody knows how to count. Sat there. How many people? 26 people at the Camp Expo. 26 people. That's probably as many people as everybody collectively in this room brought. How many people did you bring? Less than 26. You mean just being here you brought people? Just bring. But how many people did you go over and ask? He goes over and asks.
First of all, I've tried. But not every, you don't always have the siyata d'shmai. He has siyata d'shmai in this area, tremendous.
No.
He knows that. I'm not giving an excuse.
He had a great shtick he taught us. What's his great shtick? That a third of the people are people that are already learners. But he tells them, what about the width and the breadth of the Torah?
Everyone
what
has
about this?
Thing that,
yeah.
You know.
You do a status and then he gets a...
Whatever it is. Baruch Hashem, we have you.
You know what he does? When he goes over to somebody to ask him to do the job, he thinks about Einoi Mavadoi. Einoi Mavadoi, that's what he's thinking the whole time, right? Oh, you told me you have a good story of Einoi Mavadoi, not for the shir, right? It's private?
It's not really private. It's just
How long does it take?
I don't know. It takes a minute, maybe.
A minute? That means forget it. After shir. Rabbi, say here we are. We are holding Daf Samach Tes Amud Aleph. 3 or 4 lines down. So, we're in the middle of a sugya machlokes whether or not katan, someone under the age of 13, could father a child or not. Rabbis of the opinion he cannot father a child. Eis ve'abayit of Samach Tes Amud Aleph. 4 lines down. Eis ve'abayit. Ish. So here's the pasuk. V'ish ki yishkav es isha shechva zera v'yishivcha nechrefes lish. There's a slave woman, a shivcha, who is dedicated to set aside for a eved ivri, and somebody else has relations with her. So the halacha is she gets malchus, he has to bring a carbon asham. Vish. Ish, ain't lish. Maybe it means only that she had relations with an adult. How do we know that if she has relations with a 9-year-old, then the same halacha applies, she gets malchus? Now obviously he doesn't get anything because he's a katan, but what about her? Tamid loymar v'ish. You see the vav of the v'ish is red, highlighted, to teach us that even a 9-year-old could cause her to be over. So what do you see from here? It says mefurish in the pasuk, check this out. Look, v'ish ki yishkav esisha shichva zera, and we're talking about a 9-year-old. A 9-year-old shichva zera. So you see that he has the ability to father a child. Says the Gemara, Omelei yeshloi ve'enu moiled. He has shichva zera, but it's not capable of producing a child. Kisvua shlo yevia shlish dami. It's like wheat that has the seeds, but if you plant them, nothing will come out. The ish mezid mazriya. The word mezid means to cook it. Then he's mazriya, ben cotton mezid mazriya. But a youngster didn't cook it yet. It's not completely done. And memela, he cannot father a child. He might have it, but it doesn't do anything. You're gonna like this, Remendi, your Rebbe, Baruch Ezrachi. A Bacher asked him, why is that his Torah is famous around the world? So he says, based on this Gemara, first you have to cook it well, have it good in your head, and then you give it over. It has to be cooked well. Ve'ein kodem mezin mezriya. So the Gemara Ravashi. Here you see Ramordcha, Ravashi. My master that mezin lishna b'shuli. What do you see? Mezin means to do something deliberately. How do you see that mezin means to cook? Yosef Vayozed Yaakov Nozid. The lush Vayozed, he cooked the lentils. So it's a lashon of cooking. But on the very Shmuel, ask the Gemara another question: whether or not a child could father his son. So it says when it comes to a bansoyer, a new halacha, Rabbi, a brand new halacha that we didn't have until now. Bein v'loyav. In order to be a ben soyer moira, you have to be a son. You can't be a father. So if you have a ben soyer moira who's a father, you can't kill him. Now here's the question: how old is a ben soyer moira? How long? What's the period? So yesterday we said 3 months. So when exactly did he become a father? How could he become a father within the 3 months? If you hold he could only become a father once he turned 13, so he only has a 3-month period for his baby to be born. In order for not to kill him, he has to have a born baby. He has to have a baby that's in this world. And that takes 9 months.
Be born. It can't just have been his. It has to be born.
Yeah.
It's not the wife for the miscarriage.
Oh, so let's see. Yeah. I hear what you're saying.
Pregnant.
Hey Chidami, what's the case? If he was already bar mitzvah as so here's the chart. If he's 13 years old, so that's when she became pregnant, but it takes 9 months to give birth. So he must be 13 plus 9 months. In order to say that, so let's think again. What happened? Let's say he was a ben soyer when he was 13, and then later on he became a father 6 years later. That's not going to help him. At the time when he was a ben soyer, he was a father. He couldn't have been a ben soyer. Ben is already 13. And then he had a baby before he had a zakon tachtoin. Now this is where the Gemara introduces the 3 months. We didn't know this until now. Well, time out. it takes more than 3 months to get to that point. Comes Reb Krusbedai and says that a Ben Soyer Moira is only, it's a 3-month window. That's it. So Mela, if he already had a child, so he's 13 and 9 months. It's past the window. The window's 13 and 3 months, not 13 and 9 months. Elav. So obviously we must say that this is what happened right over here. That his wife, whatever, became pregnant when he was 12 months, let's say, and 12 years and 5 months. I'm just throwing it out, Birevach, yeah? 12 years and 5 months, plus 9 months of pregnancy. So at the time that he had a baby, he was 13 and let's say 2 months. It's still within the window, not 13 and 3 months, it was still within the window. But Al Kopara, you see that he has the capability of fathering a child at the age of 12 and 5 months, not 13. You don't have to be 13. You see that a Cohn could father a child. What happened was, he was really 13, like we said before. We'll go back over here. He was 13. You're right. He did the birth. When did the birth happen? Like we have in the chart over here. He was 13 plus 9 months. But you don't have to wait the 9 months. Why? And you had a question, but Rabbi Krusbedai said, there's only a 3-month window. Oh, I have a pshat. He said in Eretz Israel, he doesn't have to be a father. He has to be roy to be a father. In other words, they call it in English, showing. When his wife is showing, then he's already a father. What happens? People say, oh, Shatoiva. They tell the 12-year-old in shul. No, he's 13. He's 13. He's 13. Sorry, he's 13 and a month, and like close to 3. Shatoiva. So they already call him a father. At that point, once they call him a father, you can't kill him. So at what age is that? 13 and 3 months. At that point, that's it. You can't kill him. It's Hainu Hach. The 13 and 3 months that Reb Krusbedai got his 3 months from is from here. It's when you start showing. It's the 3 months of that. That's how he said. Up to 13 and 3. Gufa. Omar Rebbe Krusbedai, Omar Reb Shapsai. It's interesting. What's Krusbedai? So the uncle says Krusbedai means, anybody know? How do you know? That's the
lady sat next to him.
That's the story I want to say. Leva Torah, Rabbi San. Leva Torah. I asked what's Krusbedai. Krusbedai, he said is tzitzis. I said, how do you know? From the story. Rabbi Avram Genachovsky was on a bus. He has I love his stories. This is a tough one. People might not like it so much, but it's still a good story. And he came into a very uncomfortable situation where a woman sat down next to him. He didn't know what to do. So he told the woman, he said, listen, I have Krusbedai. I have a bad case of Krusbedai. So she got up and she left. So he meant to say that he has tzitzis. He says, it's tzitzis. You don't like the story, huh? They say that many years later, just like this guy, he knows the story. Some girl sat down next to a guy, and the guy said, Yeshiva Baruch says, listen, I have Krusbedai. He says, what do you think, I'm stupid? I heard the story with the Rav Rom Ganachovsky. Omer Rav Shapsai. Interesting, huh? Here's a story with Rav Krusbedai, tzitzis, Rav Shapsai, Shabbos against tzitzis. That's the gufa. We just said a concept that you should know. I hope the Oiler remembers this. Everybody remember this. Because about 2 days ago, maybe one person raised his hand. What is the window of a Ben Soyer Moira? 3 months. Zeo, remember it. So how is it possible? We learned yesterday, Zok Tachtoin, it can't be really within 3 months. A kid develops that within 3 months. And even if he does, everybody. So the Gemara says, no, very simple. It depends what comes first. It's what comes first. Hikiv Zakon, that's one shear of Hikiv Zakon. You could be, the boy could be 13 years old in 1 month if he has a Zakon Tachtoin. That's it. He's not a Ben Soyer anymore. And then if that comes first, if Shlosh Chadashim comes first, 3 months, then you cannot be a Ben Sar. Yosef Yagav and Kohen Kamid the Ravina Yosef Cohn Shmei the Rav Huna Berei the Rishua. He said in the name of Rishua. Shma min Omed the Ravina Kruz Bedoi Omer Reb Shapsai. You led us to Shiva and over Nikar L'Shlish Yameha. Time in Gemara, there was women that gave birth in the 7th month. It was a different type of pregnancy. It was different. There's a 9-month pregnancy. It's not pshat that she is a regular pregnancy and she happens to deliver early a premature baby. No, she's in a 7-month pregnancy. So the question is, if a woman is in such a pregnancy called a 7th-month pregnancy, does she start showing at Shlish Yameh, at a third of her days? So does she, instead of showing at 3 months, maybe she starts showing at 2 months and a third. What's the nafkamina? Nafkamina is that there's the famous Mishnah. We all know this halacha. It says that a Yavama should not get married after her husband dies. She shouldn't be Misyabim or even Chalitza for 3 months. And then the Mishnah goes on to say that even a divorcee, somebody lost their husband, 3 months. You have a woman, and this is not even a joke. This is Karev La'emes, what happened there. A woman is sitting Shiva on her husband, and the Shatlan comes in and starts reading Shidduchim. And she said, okay, listen, on the rebound, like, whatever it's called, like she just lost her husband, she just finished Shiva, she gets up, she gets married the next day. It says in the Mishnah, you have to wait 3 months. Koch Nefesh, whatever it is. There's a few Aterim. She did it. In her mind, there was a Heter. And now, all of a sudden, she starts showing 2 months and a third later. So if you say that it's possible that she might be in a 7th-month pregnancy and it's possible to show after 2 months and 2 and a third months, then it's possible it's from her second husband. So now you have a big suffix what to do with the kid. But if it's impossible, so it must be that it comes from her first husband, so you don't have a suffix on this kid. That's enough nafkamina, whether it's possible but from over here you see, I don't understand something. You should say that any time there's a Ben Sara Moira, he can no longer be a Ben Sara Moira after 2 months and a third. Why? Because maybe he fathered this kid after two months and a third, and he's no longer a Ben Sara Moira. Why are you waiting for 3? Maybe it's a 7-month pregnancy. These are the nikr. L'shlish yameh lo mishloisha b'trei v'til t'sagi. Amar lei lo elam ha'melach uber nikr l'shlish yameh. Zil basa ruba. This is a rive in the whole Torah. We go after the rive. 90% of the women give birth after 9 months. So we're going to say 9 months. The problem is that now you're killing a kid based on a rive. He's a Ben Sar, but perhaps you shouldn't kill him because maybe it's a 2 month and a third showing, not a 3 months. So don't kill him. No. We go with the rive. Most are 3 months. But now you're killing somebody based on the rive.
The whole thing is killing a guy based on a rive.
Correct. Somebody asked me that last night. It's not a rive, it's
the whole thing is based on what's going to happen, maybe. The whole thing is based on not Lamaisa.
I hear. Somebody asked me that last night also. So,
it's not a maybe, it's a gilui.
First of all, there's a.
It's still a roy. It's still a chazaka.
No, it's not a roy.
It's going to be.
It's based
not mitzias. I think it's similar to what Norman was saying. That's what I was telling you. We have to protect society from this guy. We're not going to wait. When a guy comes into your house with
having a baby at 12 and a half years.
No. When a guy, that we do say, that's the Gemara's yesterday. He said we should do that. Exactly. That was exactly the Gemara's svar yesterday. When a guy comes in with a gun, you don't start saying, there's a 10% chance he won't kill you. So Mela, how could you kill him? How could you, Hababa Machteres, how could you, how can you, based on a rib? No,
there's a chazaka because the guy's in your house.
Yeah, exactly. And over here also, the chazaka, he's stealing, he's in a,
he's going to do.
But it's on another thing. Okay, fine.
You're small, no?
Fine.
Small.
I saw a very interesting. I don't know the answer to this. I saw a very interesting question. In the beginning, I thought he starts going into it. I'm not going to say which Rav it is. You'll have to guess. A baby drank a bottle, and some guy started screaming, "There's bleach in the bottle." So there was like 25 people there. Said, "No, there's no bleach. We saw there's no bleach." He says, "There's bleach." do you drive this kid to the hospital or not? Is it yeah, it's Shabbos. So now it's a suffix pikuach nefesh, but you say no because the guy doesn't know what he's talking about. 25 people are not just kids. It all goes into fine. Everybody says of course. He rather says not. Anyway, I'm not going to say which road. Amru kamei de Rav Huna berei de Rav Yeshua Omer lahu ubedina nefashos mi'azlin bas ruba. Do we really go with a roiv to kill somebody? HaTorah Amru, the Torah says, "V'shaftu ha'eda v'yetzilu ha'eda." You have to give every doubt to the killer, to the guy that's chayiv misa. Anytime you have any sort of, that's what we learned a lot in this Masechta, that we ask the edom here, there. We try to get this guy out of the death penalty. So even on the suffix, we're going to use a suffix to save him. You say you go with the roiv. Of course you go with the roiv. Why? Again, something that we learned, another chazar of Osnan, we learned in the Mishnah. Where do we learn it? Daf Mem. Okay, so it's already a month ago. Okay, a month and a week. The word we have two witnesses say, I saw the killing. I saw him shooting the guy. When was it? 2nd of the month. The other guy says it was the 3rd of the month. Good eidos. You're going to kill this guy based on a testimony that they're off by 1 day. So you have to say that we're using a roiv over here. Because every month is different. There's a 29 and there's a 30. And this guy, I said this yesterday, I couldn't believe it, that some people didn't hear the story. In the Hebrew shir, so I'm going to say, maybe in the English shir they heard it, because this is an American story. The famous story that a guy comes to visit his son, like many fathers do. My son's Rosh Hashiva told me, schmoozing with him, he says, almost every single father came to visit their son, and they come from America, and you live 25 minutes away. You didn't say it like that, but okay. Anyway.
It's about what you hear.
That's what I heard. Who's that? The guy heard.
Yeah. Left my daughter in the hospital when she had a baby. So.
No, I told him I'll come Beis Hashem. Not to visit my son, to visit the yeshiva, the matziv. Yeah, you're right. Oh, it's to visit the son. You're right. So a guy comes to visit his son in the mirror. I'm saying it as if you never heard it. 90% of you heard the story. Comes to visit his son in the mirror. And as they're walking into Shacharis, his son tells his father, like with a gaiva, with a stoltz, not realizing that his father learned in Eretz Yisrael for 7 years. He says, Tai, in Eretz Yisrael, they do Birkas Kehanim on Hanukkah. It's unbelievable. He's telling his father he's never in shul the entire year. Okay, so this guy, he wasn't by Birkas HaChodesh on Shabbos. He gave it away. Everybody knows that Rosh Chodesh this month is on Friday, yeah, and Shabbos. Shabbos Kodesh. Did he say it like that? Not. This guy doesn't know. He just showed where he was Shabbos morning, but it happens. There's a lot of people that make this mistake. So Mela, kill the guy. 1 day, you're off by 1 day. That's fine. This is something I cannot believe. You read this Hadaris of. I saw a picture of this guy Luigi. I'm going crazy over it. The people are so crum. They want this guy that was caught on video killing somebody. They want him to go free. Free Luigi. Hundreds of people protesting with big signs. Free. Where's the Ibus Hadin? It's Mamish Dara Mabel. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Millions of dollars to give for his defense.
Millions of dollars to defend him. Because he killed, he was right for killing him. No, the head of an insurance company. Yeah, he deserves to die. Stop. No, life is nothing. It's the same people, pro-Palestine. It's not Irvine. No, it hurts. It hurts to see this is where America is. Not Irvine. But anyways, no Ritzach. She go free. Yeah. But not. It doesn't count. I just thought about it because they were saying, how can you get him out of it? So she said, it's not fair because they paraded him in front of everybody. So in Mela, he can't get a fair trial. But I'm saying, you don't need fair, not fair. Over here, he can't get a fair trial because he's off. The testimony's off by a whole day. Nevertheless, we kill him. But if we must use a roiv over here to kill him. No, they were there in Shul. They know where Rish Chodesh is. And this guy said the third, and this guy said the second. They're contradicting each other. We must say that we go with the roiv. Didn't you have the Tobi Bur the Archa? People make that mistake. By one day, it's normal in those days. Besides, they didn't have calendars and all. They make a mistake by one day. I'll also prove it to you that we go with the roiv. And this is a murder raya here. Also, Chazara from 2 weeks ago. Bas, it seems like 6 months ago. Bas sholish shana b'yom echad miskadeshes b'biyah. A boy is royal biyah, we said at 9. A girl is 3. Now, what does that mean? That means in all halachas that are negeh to this yisod. That what? First of all, miskadeshes b'biyah. If her father gives her over to another man, since the first Mishnah in Kedushin says one of the 3 drachim is biyah, she's mekudesh. Vim ba'aleh yavim kana. If she became a widow at the young age of 3, and her brother-in-law decides to be miyabim her, he's kind to her with biyah because she's royal biyah. The chayav malem shomeish ish, she's a normal ish for everything. So if somebody else comes as mizana, he's chayav misa. Of course she's not because she's only 3. Umetama is boyalo l'tama mishka v'tachton ke'el yoin. I will show you this again. This is probably the 3rd time, but it's kedai to ingrain it in our brains because just a few weeks ago we had no idea what this was. A zava, a nida, she is metama, whatever she sits on. It's called tumas medris, mishka v'moishav, whatever you want to call it. But she doesn't have to touch what she's sitting on. Even a 10th layer below her, as long as they're each touching each other, they all become tameh with the same tumah that she has, which is tremendous chiddush. Now, if she had relations with her husband not knowingly, so now her husband also becomes like a nida, but he becomes a little bit less. He becomes what we would say a normal, what we would think is normal. So he had relations with the avatuma. He becomes avatuma, but he becomes like her, like a nida, like a zava. But the mattresses he sits on are 1 darga less, like a normal tumah. Every time he touches something, it becomes less. Let's say he didn't have relations with her. He stopped, touched her. So that doesn't make him avatuma. That makes him 1 less than her. Then he becomes a rishon. He's the rishon, and then if he sits on the mattress, nothing happens. It's only because he becomes avatuma. So let's say a person has relations with a kid that's less than 3. It sounds meshuggah as I'm saying it. Okay, this is Gemara. Less than 3. It's not biyah. It's like just touching. But if she's royal biyah, then he becomes mamish like her to become avatuma. If she marries a kohen, she could eat right away even without chuppah. Rashi sticks in here because now she's all you need is ra'ui libiyah. You don't need real biyah. If anybody that's pasul has relations with her, psalim and akuna, she can no longer marry a kohen. This is important to remember because we're going to turn the page. So you have to remember all these words right here. If any of the arayis has relations with her, any one of the Torah, meaning a brother-in-law, a father, a brother, any arayis. What's the next word? Mumasim alel. The next 2 words, they die. Because the Gemara is going to try to wiggle its way out of here and say they bring a carbon. And the Gemara says, no, it says mumasim, they die. V'hiptura. Obviously, she's a ktana, she's pater. Ask the Gemara a bomb question. Let's think about this for a second. You have a 3.5-year-old who's a married woman, and somebody comes off the street and is mizana with her. What do we do to him? We kill him. Why? Because she's Eishes. Who told you? Maybe when she turns 20, we'll find out that she was an islandess. It's a woman who can never have children. And if she's an islandess, she was never married. It's a mekach tos. How did you kill this guy? She was never Eishes.
Ask when she's 15 also.
Okay. No, then you could see. Then you could see already islandess. You start seeing. So here,
any age before 20.
Rabbi says, here's the original islandess. Islandess is a lashon of a ayol, of a male goat who can be pregnant. So too, she here, this is the new version. Islandess. You want to say it louder, Avi? It might be able to record. I heard your mother-in-law washes the shear. You want to say it loud? Yes or no? Yes or no? Why are you turning colors over there? Wow. We have everybody. I never said this. I'm thinking now. Like from now, I'm going to say. I might have said it once in the Nissim actually. We have when you look at the shir, we have everybody. We have from 8-year-olds to 98-year-olds. We have Hasidim to Tziyonim. By the way, I have to say Shalom Aleichem now. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? I forgot to say hello to you. What's your name? Yosef. Maski. Masri from Vanen Zente. No. You see what? I'm going to my story. We have a guy from Monroe who's sitting right behind a guy.
Not from Monroe.
Not from Monroe. Not from Monroe.
Like that.
The Kippah Struga and this. And he had all the seats here, but he dafka sat behind him because he feels mamish a closeness to everybody in the room. And you know what I'm going to say now? I'm being moistered to this. We have the most normal people in the world, and we have the greatest Mishugayim in the world. And we have everything in between.
There's another one in
Oh! You know Rabbi Yosef Masri? Where are you from? Innovation. What's your name? V? Yidi Neufeld? Wow, it's a schmucking name. And you, what's your name? Yeah. Baruch Rosenberg from? You here every day for the last year?
He started with us in Chaniche.
It's not embarrassing anymore. It's probably not even embarrassing. Huh? Baruch? The one that's chuckling? But Yossi's pretty new. Shalom Aleichem Rabbi Yossi Rubenstein. You're not new, but okay. Zog the Gemara. You hear the kasha is gewaldig. How could you kill somebody? Maybe she's an islandess. Elamai, it's a very small amount. Turning to the Daf Shvat, Innovations LLC, in honor of Elchanan Pressman and Fischl, and Zchut Vakiva Simcha Ben Fego, Shidduch Verufki Yudis Bas Yafa Chaya, and thank you to Rebbe Stefansky. Adar Global, experts in international financial services. L'schos Refuah Satino Yecheskel Yedidyo Ben Nechama Sheindel. Oh, we have the name Yedidyo in our daf coming up. Who? The guy ran away? Who? That guy. He got insulted. But that is most women are not islanders. Loi. Says Gemara, you know what it means? My chayav, you know what I meant to say? That chayav, my chayav aleh diktani? Carbon. If the person had relations, b'shoigeg, you only have to bring a carbon. As a Gemara, remember I told you, remember, it says mefurish, they die. They don't bring a carbon. Carbon is a nice try, but it says mefurish, you die. How can you kill somebody based on a roiv? So you see that we could kill somebody on a roiv. Says the Gemara, no, b'ba aleh via. Over here, we're talking about one relative dies, that we know that he's for sure related to her, and he's for sure over Issa. So even though she might be an islandess, not an islandess, that doesn't matter. Islandess just does what? What does islandess do? It breaks the marriage, and maybe she's not Eish Ish. So any new relatives that happen through the marriage, they are not related. So let's say a brother-in-law had relations with her. He's not a brother-in-law because maybe she's an islandess. But a father is always a father. So if she's 3.5 years old, he's chayiv misa. Forget it. Put him away. It doesn't matter if she's an islandess. Let me ask you something. Let's say a guy gets married and he finds out that his wife has a terrible mum. He never knew. Terrible mum, whatever it is. She just walked out of the sane asylum a minute ago. Their whole life she spent there. He didn't know. They drugged her up real good. She went on a date. Is it a good shidduch? Do you have to get a get? Do you have to get a get or not? Make a toss. You have to get a get? Get or no get? Get or no get?
So where is it? When did he find
Depends
out?
who the chassid is, Avi. Don't talk for everybody over here. That might be a great shidduch for certain individuals in the room.
When did he find out?
Found out after they got married. Got married, chuppah kiddushin, the whole thing.
They went home?
They went home, and he found out the next morning, he sees her crawling on the floor to the front door. And he said, what is going on here? She says, I forgot. Or she has a terrible disease he doesn't know about. Whatever, there's a million things. Or he has a terrible disease, and he's a mishon, and he. No, I'm sorry. What do you want to do? So the answer is, the Beis Halevi says yes. There's no kiddushin whatsoever. You don't need a get. It's a mekach tosh, a mekach tosh. What? Like an islandess. There's no difference like an islandess. I'm sure the machmir today and this and that. What up? Forget the like suba. There's no kiddushin. There's no kiddushin. There's yaitz beloy get. Beloy get. Yeah, nothing. He says beloy get.
As if it didn't happen.
As if it didn't. A mekach means a mekach. There's nothing. You just go back as if nothing happened. There's a lot of. Does the father of the girl have to pay for the caterer? That's the shayla. Does he have to pay you for? I'm saying this is. I'm sure there's a lot of shayla. Anyways. Ask the Gemara, that's also a nice try. You try to tell me that everything that it says over here is talking about one relative of father. But it says, I told you to remember this also. All the arayas, all of them. You know why it's not a mekach with this islandess? Because he said, I'm marrying you on condition that even if you turn out to be an islandess, we're still married. But you're right. If it's a regular marriage where a guy doesn't stipulate, I'm marrying you even if you're an islandess, 99% of the time, so you cannot kill a relative based on the fact that they had relations with a 3-year-old, because maybe she'll turn out to be an islandess. Ein chanami. The halacha is that if a mother has relations with her own son, who's a gadol, then she's chayv misa, obviously, if there's edim and asra, and if there's no edim, so she becomes pasal lakuna. What if she had relations with her son who's a minor? At what age? 8 years old. Because if he's a real minor, marriage like 6, 5, then that's nothing. If he's 9, 10, then he's like a gadol. The question is 8 years old. Says the Gemara. What is the beginning of Bia? That's enough to make her pasal tekuna. Or the Rabbi Bar Nechmeni Omar Rav Chizda, Amri Lo Omar Rav Chizda, Omar Ziri. Hakol moedim beben sheva v'yem echad shebi Yosef. What did I say? I have no idea why I said that. Hakol moedim beben teisha shona v'yem echad shebi Yosef. If he's 9, the Olam is paying attention. Givaldik. If he's 9, it's 100%. That throughout the whole shas we see 9 years old. That's it. It's a regular bia. She's possible. Pachas meben shmoina. Anything under 8, shebi Yosef bia. Everybody agrees. Nothing. Lo nechliku ela beven shmoina. The year 8, what's the shaila? The Bishami Sabri Gamrina Medoris Rishonim. Can we prove anything from Shelaima Melech, Avram Avinu, the Doris Rishonim? Ubisil Sabri Legamri Medoris Rishonim. You can't prove anything from the Doris Rishonim. They were different. So, okay, it's possible. Here's Betzim, I think the shaila is, in those days, it was possible for them to father children at a very young age. Today we can't, maybe at that age, at 8, but perhaps because they used to father, so that's enough to consider him a bar hachi or whatever it is to passel his mother. As a side note, I looked up today because people know this. That Rizal, when he was nifter, he was only 38 years old. The Ramchal was how old? 39, 40. The Ramah, 42. I don't know. Those are the names. I'm sure there's many others. What?
Rava was 40.
Yerova, Baya, no, there's 20 and 40. 20 and 40, yeah. So the way I understand it is that a person comes to make a tikkun in this world. Somebody like the Arizal, what he accomplished at the age of 38, it's mind-boggling. So okay, he did his tikkun. So the real question is, why do so many G'daylim live to be 100? That's the question. If the G'daylim, they finish the tikkun, they say it's for the dar. The dar needs them. They gave a lot of eitzes, a lot of brachas, a lot of chizuk. Fine.
Still need them.
Yeah. We always need them. Says the Gemara. Not for themselves, for you. Ilaim the chsiv. Oh, so v'darsha yishonim minol and da'ilid. How do you know that? How do you know that? Yeah, darsha yishonim minol and da'ilid. How do you know that they were able to father children at the age of 8? So there's a long thing here. Let me just show you real quickly how it goes, and then we could do it quickly. Basically, Achitophel had Eliam had Bathsheba. So Bathsheba is the granddaughter of Achitophel. And Bathsheba, of course, had Shelaima. Now, believe it or not, Achitophel, when he died, he's a great-grandfather of Shelaima Melech, and he died when he was 33 years old. If I could prove to you that Shelaima Melech was not a baby when he died, but he was actually 7 years old, so that means that when Shelaima Melech was born, Achitophel was how old? 7 minus 33, 26. Yeah, 26. Now you have to also take off time for the pregnancies. Achitophel, his wife was pregnant for 9 months. It's about a year. Eliam also. So you have to take off 2 years of pregnancies for the three people. To get the Shelaima, there's 2 years.
Right, it was a 7-month pregnancy.
Yeah, but you need 30 days of Tahara. You need 30 days of Tahara. So it's a total of 8 months. So that's 2 years. 24 divided by 8 is of 8 months of pregnancy. 7 months plus Tahara is 24. This 24 divided by 8 is 3. That you have 3 people, 3 pregnancies in 2 years. So now we start off with 26. Shlomo Melech, when he was born, Achitophel was how old? 26, because Achitophel was 33 when he died, and Shlomo Melech was 7 when he died. So 7 minus 33 is 26. 26 minus 2 years of pregnancy is 24. So in 24, how many? And he was a grandfather. 3 people were born in those 24 years. 3 marriages happened and kids. That's 3 generations in 24 years. That means each generation is 8 years. Let's just see it here, and then it goes like this. Hold on, I'll just show you here, right, real quick. This is the Gemara. Shlomo Melech was born, and then there's 2 years. The Gemara is just going to bring 2 years when he killed Amnon, and then another 3 years when he was 5 years old. Avshalom ran away to Geshur, and then he came back to Yerushalayim. Bekitzer, Shlomo Melech, the Gemara proves he was 7 years old when Achitophel died. And here, this is the good one. Mendy, check this out. Shlomo Melech was 33. I'm serious. No, I don't want him to miss this. Shlomo Melech was Achitophel was 33 years old when he died, when he was killed, or he died, suicide. So and Shlomo, we just took off 7 years. We proved that Shlomo Melech was 7 years old when he died. So that means when he was born, Achitophel was 26 years old. So now 8 years and a year, 8 years. He was 8 years old when his wife became pregnant, plus a year of pregnancy for Eliam and for Bathsheba. Bekitzer, it's 8 plus 8 plus 8. You see that you can be 8 years old to have all these generations. When he was 33 years old when he died, and he was a great grandfather. The Gemara proves that it takes 8 years. What's the kasha? One person asked me last night a kasha. It could be looked weiter. Oh,
Bathsheba had 2 kids.
That's right. That's a good kasha. So Bekitzer, maybe Bathsheba was 5 years old when she had a kid, and the boys were really 9 years old. How can you prove that a boy could father a child when he's 8 years old? Since one of these people is Bathsheba, there's 2 boys and a girl. So maybe the girl, she's capable of having kids when she's 3, 4 years old. I don't know what age. In fact, before she had Shelaima, she had another kid. So I don't know that the boys are 8. Now you have to do a different division. Girl is 3, and then take the rest of the years and divide them between the boys. They have 9, 10 years old.
Is Kasha 13 or 9, 10?
9, 10. 9, 10. We don't have solid proof that someone could father a child at the age of 8. We're trying to find out 8. Who told you? You're dividing between the boys and girls. Girls are different ages.
So what's the answer to that?
That's why the Gemara knocks it off. Gemara knocks it off. Hold on. Who? David HaMelech called him Yedidya, which is Shelaima. Hashem loved him. Here. There's 2 years over here, like you see in this chart right over here. There's the chart. He went to Geshura. That's another 3 years. So first we saw that Shlomo was born. Then you have all these things. 2 years that the Geizim. 3 years that he went to Geshura. David HaMelech, he killed his brother. Amnon, so David HaMelech didn't let him back in. It's his own son. He killed David HaMelech's son. His son killed his own son. Right? From a different mother, but David HaMelech had a loss here. Yeah. Terrible situation. His own son is a killer who killed David HaMelech's other son. So he didn't let, and then in Kitzer, he let him back, but he didn't look at him for 2 years. Let me go to Chevron. Achitophel saw that we can't overthrow David HaMelech. He took his donkey, he gave a tzava over to his family. He killed himself. So how old was he there? He's 33 years old. Achitophel and Doeg, these are people of blood and deceit. They're not going to even come to half of their days. How long does a person live? 70 years. Half of that, they won't even get to 35. Doeg, in fact, never made it to 35, it was 34. He only lived at 33. So now we go to this chart. I'm sorry. Achi Teufel was 33 when he died all the way on the left. We already established that Shlomo Melech was 7 years old when his great-grandfather died. So 33 minus 7 is 26. Out of that, he had 3 generations. So that takes up 2 years, as we explained. Rashi says it's not 9-month pregnancies, it's not 7-month pregnancies, it's 8 months for 7 months plus a month. So it's possible that each one gave birth when they were 8 years old. The Gemara's question is, what if a son is with his mother and he's 8 years old? Does she become puzzle like as the Gemara, maybe the 2 boys gave birth when they were 9. And the girl was 6. A woman is healthier, stronger, they develop quicker. You see, bas mitzvah, bar mitzvah. In fact, she had a child that she lost. So there's a Maridik Rashi here. It's kedai to see this, just the chizuk. It says like this: V'teida al karcha the isha memeres d'havla l'asheva vlad and kamesh vlad shemeis l'david another region. The chsibei. I just want to get to the last line here. The chashermeis hayeled kamto v'toicha lechem. What happened was that Melech was in tremendous agony and sorrow and davening for this kid. And then as soon as the kid died, he said, "What are you doing? You got up and you made a feast? You get up and eat bread?" So he said, the pshat is, when I saw that I could still daven, he's not dead, so I'm going to daven and do everything I can to save this kid. As soon as I see that it's all over, I'm a kabel the din ba'hava. Then, then I get up, I'm done. I'm done with the yisurim, I'm done with the sigufim and the tefillah. Now there's nothing to daven for. I'm a kabel Hashem's gzeira miratza. So, how do we know that a child could father another child at the age of 8? Ela told us Terach choled this Avram esnachav es Avram had 2 brothers, Nachor and Haran, and Haran had a daughter called Sarah, and Avram married her. What's the difference in age between Avram and Sarah? 10 years. What's the difference in age between Avram and Haran? 2 years. So it has to be that Haran was 8 years old when he had that you could be 8 years old when you have a kid. How do you see? Avram gadol menachor shana, v'nachor gadol meharan shana. The difference between the age gap between Avram and his brother, each brother is 1 year. Nimsa Avram gadol shtei shana meharan. So Avram is only 2 years older than his brother Haran because he's mentioned the pasuk first. Uchsiv vayikach Avram v'nachor lehem nashim. And as you see over here in this pasuk, it says, Bas Haran Vavi Yiska. Yiska's father is who? Haran. V'omar Rabbi Yitzchak Yiska Zusara. Yiska, why is her name Yiska? Shesoicha Baruch HaKodesh. She was able to see with Baruch HaKodesh. V'ayne d'chsiv. That's what it says in the pasuk. Everybody sees that she's beautiful. The chsiv, vayipol al panav, everybody gazes at her. Vayipol al panav, vayitzchok, vayem b'liboy. Kama koshes Avram and Sarah. How many years difference? This is where I said that story. I got into trouble. I said it last night, but it's okay. We don't have time now. Vayipol Avram al panav, vayitzchok, vayem b'liboy al ben mea shana. It says Avram was 100 and Sarah was 90. So you see, there's a 10-year difference. So Mela must be that Haran fathered her when he was 8 years old because he's 2 years younger than Avram. And there's a 10-year difference between Avram and Sarah. Avram and Sarah, and he's older than Haran by 2 years. You see that he gave birth, he fathered him when he was 8. Maybe Avram was the youngest. Haran was much older, and therefore he fathered Sarah when he was 9, 10, 11, I don't know when. We're just, the reason why he's brought that in the pasuk first is because that he was greater in Chachma. This is Givaldik. Rabbi say here real quickly. Check this out. First of all, enjoy this beautiful picture that Yoshi did of the Teva. How old was Avram Avinu when he started having children? He was 500 years old. Noach. I said okay. Noach was 500 years old. He had Shem when he's 500. A year later, Cham, so he's 502. And when he had Yosef, it's 503. And then it says the Mabul started when he was 600. So at that point, how old was Shem? 100. Right? When the Mabul started. Then it says that at 2 years after the Mabul, Shem had a son, Arpachshad. So how old should he be? 102. But the Torah says he's 100. The Torah says he's 100. But he's really 102. So we must say, Rabbi, check this out, that he's really born where Yosef was born. But the reason why they put him first is because he's more chashav. Oh, so now it fits in. So you see, you go by chashisha. That's a kasha. Look in the Marshon, the Maram, they ask that. They're 1 year difference. So Shem is older by 2 years. In other words, he's 100 years old when the Mabul started. He was only 100. Don't say he was 102. 2 years. That's 102 years after he was born. We're going by the Chachma. Rabbi, have a wonderful day.